Okay, welcome to this week's first next level Q&A session here at Inside Real Estate. In case you don't already know, we do these every week at the same time, 2 p.m. East, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can access the live schedule links at the top left. In case you're watching this on YouTube, the live links to join us are available from the top right of your kvCORE dashboard right here. So you can view the live training calendar and see all the other sessions we have going on. So that's my bit of housekeeping. The only other thing I'll mention is that we do have our FSBO series from last week all uploaded into the Next Level members area. You can also find that on the YouTube channel as well. And I just have a little content as always today, just a little concept around kvCORE or growing your real estate business. And then we will open it up to Q&A. So any questions you guys might have, feel free to start dropping those in the chat. So what I hope to get into today is something we mentioned last week, but didn't really take a lot of time with. And that is the fact that you can now edit the behavioral automations in kvCORE. These are the emails and texts that go out automatically when the users of your site take specific actions. So I have this doc right here, which I'll share to everybody live, and I'll make sure it gets put into the members area for Next Level. So let me just do that. And we're going to build out some scripts now that we can customize these. We're going to talk about some best practices and maybe just make some scripts live together for the different actions and talk about some best practices in general around scripting when you're talking to your real estate leads who come into a system like kvCORE. So here in the chat in Zoom is that link to this doc, which we'll be building out together right now. So the place to find the behavioral automations is under marketing, and then under behavioral automation up at the top, and then I do believe it's down at the bottom to get to this. And the specific thing that we're talking about are these 5 little actions down here. Where's my cool drawing tool? Let me see. Annotate. Trying to get more in the habit of this, but Zoom doesn't make it very easy to do. So this stuff right here, and how many are there? There's 6 of them that we're now able to edit. And this was a really big feature request for a while, because a lot of times the stuff that goes out automatically on these might not sound like you. And I actually had a little issue with them myself. And for a while, I had a lot of these turned off. You could always kind of turn them off, which was a nice thing. So you didn't have to have these forced to be out, but they are kind of a good idea and a really cool feature of the system. You know, the fact that even if you're not working your leads proactively from day to day, if you're busy and you're not reaching out to the people who you see visiting the site, let's say on your main dashboard, the system kind of does some stuff to re-engage people as they take specific actions. So we're going to go through one at a time then, and we're going to look at the emails and the texts. And if it's cool with you guys, we'll just kind of rewrite some of these. And I'm going to write them as I would do them. But as we go, you know, you might take some of what I do as kind of guidance and maybe shift it so that it sounds more like you and not like me. So that's what we're going to do. Somebody just say, okay, it sounds good. Let me know you can hear me and are listening right there. So the first behavior is lead revisits after 14 days. So the system knows if they haven't seen somebody for 14 days and then they suddenly pop up, it knows. And I should stop here and say and recommend that the way that you make sure people do revisit after 14 ways, the biggest, most surefire way to make sure this happens is to make sure everybody is set up for automated property alerts. Because if you think about it, that's going to be the main driver. Now, you may be doing some other things like your own retargeting ads. You might be sending something cool every week, as we recommend, like sending out an email about an open house or, you know, a webinar invite and things like that to re-engage people. But the property alerts are what going to spur on these behaviors so that you can then send these automated triggers. So you definitely want to do that. And it should go without saying that you need to have at least one really good, consistent lead source coming in too, so that you always have fresh leads who can get these messages. And I know it seems silly for me to say that, but a lot of people will say, oh, kvCORE doesn't work for me at all. And the first question I'll ask, and other people on the team will ask, like, cool, how many leads are you getting? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm supposed to get leads? Yeah, you're supposed to fuel the system with fresh stuff. So now that we got that out of the way, you're fueling the system with fresh stuff. You're putting as many people on automated property alerts so that they're getting something from you every day, and they're getting reminded to come back and look at the site. When they come back, these messages will go out. So we have lead revisits after 14 days. So let's look at what the default is. The default is, I'm glad you were able to spend a little time on my site again. It looks like you were doing a few different home searches. I'll research your areas and set up some property alerts to keep you on top of the market, anything specific you are looking for. So this for me, and maybe not for you, but this always makes me uncomfortable because it's requiring that I do something that probably I already did, but also it's a little presumptuous for me. It's a little pushier than maybe I want to be. And I'm not criticizing this specific email, but the point here is that if you want to sound a little different, you have the ability to do so now. And this restart your home search is a little strange to me for lead revisits after 14 days. That assumes that they were actually searching for homes and maybe they're just casual browsers. So I'm going to go into the edit here. And you can use some pre-built email templates. So if you want to use the advanced email editor and make like really fancy templates, you can. I don't think those are very necessary for these emails in particular, because I think these are better if they feel like you just kind of fire them off real quick and they're not super polished like a marketing email. But you can do what you want there. But I'm just going to go ahead and do something like saw you were back on my website, question mark. Hi, noticed you were back on the site today. Any English teachers in the audience aren't going to like my, incomplete sentence or whatever you would call that grammatically, right? But I'm doing it as if I was talking, right? With lots of dots. Those who are back on my site today, are you becoming more serious about finding something? Or maybe you just saw something in the alerts that interested you. Let me know. Let me know if you have a second. Well, how about this? If you have a second, please reply. Let me know. Thanks. All right. So that's what I came up for this one. I will invite audience participation. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and chat them in the comments. But what's everybody think of this one? Is this kind of cool? I think I'm okay with this one. I'm going to click save. And what I was going to do, guys, is just kind of, lead revisits. Just put these here for anybody who wants to use them, right? Revisits after 14 days. Okay, and we'll do email. And then we'll do text. So this might be tedious to watch me do, but I do think it's a good exercise. I did post a link to it, but I'll do it again, Kelly. Here, if you come in a minute later, it doesn't show you the old chat. So I'll definitely just post it again there for you. Okay, so that's kind of how I would do that. Again, the big thing here is conversational. I do ask them if you have a second, please reply and let me know. But it's very kind of like not demanding, right? And maybe they'll reply back and say, yeah, I saw something in the alerts. Cool. And then when they do that, I can say, oh, what was it? Right? Something like that. Now a text here. So thanks for visiting our site. Yeah, that one's not really great. So you'll notice here too that it has merge tags in it. So there's a little tip up here that you can add the little kind of ellipsis or parentheses thing. I don't think it's ellipsis right here. I forget what this is called. You don't see the behaviors. Kelly, what company are you with? I'm just now remembering there may be a few companies that don't allow these to be edited for whatever reason. And if that's you, I apologize. I might reach out to the admin. Oh, that doesn't seem right. It seems like your company would allow that. Did you check at the top right? I'll show that in a minute. Look up at the very top right in the marketing section. I'd be surprised that they wouldn't allow it. They're pretty forward thinking. All right. So in the text message, hi, thanks for visiting our site. Say hi. Saw you were on my site again just now. And then maybe for this one, I'll just do anything I can help with. And keep in mind, guys, I may get some negatives off of this, or I might not see that I'm getting replies. But what's cool is that we have the ability to change these. So I would recommend that, you kind of revisit these maybe once a month and just see if you're getting responses on them, especially if you have a lot of lead flow. You should get some kind of responses on them. I believe KV Core does, and the app does let you know that somebody was on, as these are happening, it lets you know that these actions were happening. So you should know that in real time, hey, somebody was revisited after 14 days, and you know that you're getting a handful of those, that you should see some kind of replies. So that's what I have for that. So lead revisits after 14 days, like so. Any suggestions or feedback? Great, that's good you found it, Kelly. I do think there are a few offices that might not allow those to be edited, or I could be confusing that with another feature. It's hard to keep track. Everybody's got their different rules. Kim's asking how I got there too. So let me show you guys that before I do more. So let's go to marketing right here. So I went to marketing, and then if you go all the way to the last option, you'll see behavioral automation down at the bottom, and it's also at the very top right up here. So it's marketing and then behavioral automation. We should just add it to the navigation directly. I don't know, thinking about it. So right here, and then it's down at the bottom. No problem, Kim. Okay, so lead visits the site 5 times in the last week. Okay, so that's a good one. I'm not going to go into what was there, right? So we'll just do saw you were lots of home searching. I'll just do this. Saw you were searching pretty actively. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be really transparent about what's going on. Hi, first name. My system sent me an automated alert. So what are we doing here? We're saying, hey, we use automated systems. We're pretty savvy, right? But we're letting them know that the reason we know is because our system told us, sent me an automated alert that said you were on our site a handful of times in the past week. Does this mean you're getting more serious about finding something? A home or investment property? Pinellas, right? If so, feel free to reply back with some details about your criteria, and I'll see, and I'll try to hand pick a few opportunities that might work. Thanks. And then first name. Okay, so I'm having fun with it. I threw my opportunity word in there like that. I believe these all come with the email signature by default. That's a setting in your profile that says add email signature to all emails, and that's why I'm always doing the dash and then my name. And I can just do my name like that. I don't do the agent first name, but again, you can merge in details in the emails. It's up here, and in the text, it's that little ellipsis thing. Brackets. I think they're called brackets. I got to learn what those are called. So I'll do this. So this is so you've been searching pretty actively. And you know, something with writing stuff like this, guys, of course, you might come back tomorrow. I'd recommend you do this one day, and you might come back tomorrow, and always, like when you write something the next day, you're like, oh, that would have sounded better like this. You know, you got to give it a little space. And even me just giving it 20 seconds of space right there, I was like, oh, I didn't like that subject line. So you can go ahead and save it. And then we're good to go. So lead revisit 14. And then we'll do the email. It's just boring watching me do this. I feel like it could be, but I also feel like it could help some people as they think about how to handle these. And this is a big feature of the system. It kind of operates under the surface. You don't realize it's going on all the time. But this is pretty critical stuff because it just is highly leveraged. You write these one time and the system just kind of does its thing, you know? So I do think it's worth spending some time on. Thanks, Kelly. That's good feedback. Yep. Okay, so that's the email for that one. And then we'll do our text real quick. Lead revisits 5 times. Hi, first name. Saw you've been searching pretty actively on the site recently. Did you want to? How about this? Did you want to set up a quick 10-minute Zoom call so we can talk a bit about your criteria / objectives? How's that? So that would be a good like kind of ask, and they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, that'd be nice. And they reply, and then you schedule a quick Zoom call, right? So do that. Just write this in here. And what I can actually do, guys, maybe to save a few minutes and make this move a little quicker, I can just put these on this doc like immediately after. Maybe that's what I'll do. So text. So you don't have to watch me do my formatting at the doc. Okay, so let's just cruise through these. Okay, so that's lead visits the site 5 times in the last week. And that's a pretty good lead. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, and this has happened in the past, like, well, what if I'm already talking to them? I wouldn't send that because I already know their criteria and they're just in active search mode. I'll just remind you that you can set the statuses that these happen for right here. So you can say, hey, I only want these to happen for my people who are a new lead or in prospect or an active lead. I don't want these to happen for the people who are under contract or have closed in the past and so on. So Tommy's saying, no, it could be. I saw you've been, it could sound creepy. So yeah, I'll think on that one. It's just kind of telling the truth. Like I can see it in my system. That one email I said, like my system told me. So you could take that route too, but that is a good thing to think about for sure. So, you could, so what would we do instead of that? We might say, so I did my system sent, and then in my text, I think I said I saw. Let's see. I know how it is. I noticed. I'll just do my system notified me that you've been. I'll just do it like that. Yeah, the saw could be a little creepy. It could also sound like, oh, this guy's not better to do than pounce on people. But it's kind of weird because that for some people that could be a good thing. Like that you're sending the signal that, hey, this is a proactive professional who's really working at their craft. Like I almost want a salesperson who is pushing me into the thing I want to do, right? In the right way. You don't want total pushing. But and of course it works different for all different types of people. I was just shopping for appliances. I don't know what my wife thought of the guy, but the salesman was like, okay, yep, here. It was very like, maybe it was very male. I was like, okay, here's what we got, right? And it was very direct and like basically like pushing me into the thing. And that guy might have seemed pushy to some people, but at the end of the day, he got the sale because he cut to the chase and led me down the path. So yeah, it's just stuff to think about here as you write these. Like, do you want to be very pushy or do you want to be not so pushy? And I think the way to find the balance is to just test different angles as we go. Patricia's saying, why not say that you're a high-tech agent? Yeah, you could say that. Or my tech platform or something. Yeah. Lead viewed 5 properties in the last day. So, and also, guys, I don't think that these are programmed to send all of these. Say somebody takes all of these actions in the same day, it's not going to send all these emails. There's some kind of logic built in that it spreads it out. So they're not going to it's not going to feel, like inundation. The other side of that is that you may wonder why maybe somebody is searching a lot, but they're not getting a message. It could be because the system said, hey, they've already been getting so much from us that we're going to leave them alone here. So the ideas here are, the system's pretty smart. It's to proactively prompt people to reply at the right touch point, at the right touch points. But if somebody's really busy with you, it's probably not going to do that. Or if it's already sent some of these. So lead viewed 5 properties in the last day. So the default is I see you've been viewing a number of listings online. I'll take time to research some of those to get more details on which are a better value. So like this, I don't like because I might not have time to research the listings they were looking at to see which are better value. It says, is this the best email to send that sort of thing to? I don't know. I'm emailing you, and if they're getting it, then it was a fine email. I don't know. So I'm gonna change that. And so they looked at more than 5 properties. So the difference between this, I may have to look, visits the site 5 times, viewed 5 properties. Okay. Okay, so view some properties in person. And now we can do an email that doesn't mention the fact that they were on the site. So we'll mix it up. Say, as you're getting if you're getting a little serious about your Pinellas property search. I always do like property search instead of home. You can do home, but you know there are a lot of investors out there, so I like to say property search. Maybe I wonder if maybe you want to see a few properties in person. Should have a few slots open later this week if you want to get together and maybe see one or two of the listings you've been looking at. Let me know. All right, so we're just basically the system knows that they've looked at 5 properties in the last day. And I'm offering the chance to meet in person. So just do that. Again, guys, I'll write all these on the doc right after. It's just quicker if I do it that way. Tommy's asking a good question. Do the behaviors take action during work hours, or is it when the behavior is actually triggered? So I think it obeys the office hours that are set in the system. I can't remember if those office hours are set by an admin or if you have the ability to set them, but the system will send communications within those hours. So if they saw the stuff happening overnight, it'll probably go out a little after 9 a.m. You know, if that's the way it's set. Okay. Viewed 5 properties in the last day. This one, I think I did the other day. Yeah, I did this at the end of the session last week, just as an example. So this one I like. Thanks for continuing to search on our site. Just let me know if I can help anyway. Now I could say on our site, or I could say on. They might be searching on multiple sites. And maybe I'll do this. Have you seen any listings in particular that you might want to look at in person? How about that? Save that one. Okay. Lead viewed 10 properties in the last week. Well, to me, this is the same as this one. I'm going to chop it off and just say that you can use the same messaging for this and this. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of a lazy route here, so I don't see much of a difference. So let's do that. Whoops. The confirmations are throwing me off. All right, here we go. Yes, I'm sure. All right. To me, this is almost the same scenario. There's not much difference. So I'm just gonna, for the 5 properties in the last day, or the 5 and 10 in the last week. But of course, what's nice is you're totally free to do whatever you want, and we're not dictating this to you. So lead viewed property 3 times. This is where, I think you can get a little more specific around the property. So what was happening here? I just sent you a text. I saw you were checking out a few properties, including listing address. Put some research in around that property. Again, I don't think these messages should promise that you're going to do work, because you might be on vacation, right? So instead, we're going to use the little merge tag for listing address. That's very useful, for sure. So that's in there. It viewed the same property 3 times. Great. So listing address is the subject line, and I'll put question marks. And I might even do questions about. And I'll say, hi, I noticed you've checked out listing address a few times on my site recently. Did you have any This is pretty simple, right? Did you have any questions about the property? Or if you'd like, I can schedule an in-person tour sometime soon. Put it in print. I'll just leave it like that. All right, so just leave it like that. So questions about that address? They've looked at it 3 times. They probably are going to be familiar with that. Okay. And then lead viewed property 3 times for a text. And I wonder, so let's try to put the merge tag in, checking out. I don't know if the listing address merges in. It does. Saw you were, hi, first name. I noticed you were viewing again, maybe this is creepy, maybe it isn't, a few times on our site. Recently. Do you want me to set up an appointment to look at it in person? So just leave it like that. Okay, so I'm just looking over at the questions. Okay, so I'll get to that in a minute. Sheik or Sheik, I don't know how to say your name, but we'll get to that in a second. But a really good place to start, of course, is the Quick Start course if you haven't done that already. But if you want more practical, we'll talk about that in a minute. But these in particular, this is the scenarios that these go out to people who are already in the system. So you do want to have people in the system who are getting automated property alerts. Again, as I said at the top, because if they're getting the automated property alerts, then they're going to end up, it's the biggest driver of these kinds of actions. If they're getting property alerts and they see something a couple of blocks over that they might want to trade up or move down into, and they've looked at it 3 times, it's a perfect time for the system to trigger this automated email offering an in-person showing. And I've seen it happen a lot. These emails will actually generate you business, even when they weren't the greatest emails, because people will reply back to them. Now, don't expect you to get a response every day, but every few weeks, depending on the volume in your site, or even every few months, you'll get somebody who's like, yeah, I really am interested in 123 Main Street. Like, can I see it later tonight? That will happen. So that's why we're doing this. Okay, so lead favorites of property. Now let's have fun with this. I don't know if you guys want to do this. Ready to make an offer. This is the fun route, okay? You don't have to do it this way. I'm sure you can come up with your own version, but they favorited it, right? So ready to make an offer on listing address, right? Hi, first name, my system. We'll go with the my system version. My system has sent me an alert that you favorited address. I'll get the paperwork. I'll get the paperwork ready and sent over ASAP. How much you want to offer? Right? I'm just having a little fun with this one, right? And then, but this could work, right? Of course, this could work. But we gotta like qualify it. Just kidding. Obviously, you'd probably to see it first. Just let me know if you have any questions about the property or would like to schedule an in-person showing. And I'll probably won't even put this below. I was kind of doing it as a PS, but I'll just do it right away in case they don't see the PS. Just kidding. I don't know, something like that. Show a little personality, right? Give them a little emojis. Yeah, it's a bit aggressive, but it would be like kind of cool if we could inject like a picture, actually. Oh, we can. Here. They might, and their eyes might scan to right to the hi, just kidding. They might read this first part. They might go right here and be like, just kidding about what? And then they read this. I have to pay and send it over. All right, I might work on this one. This is whenever you're trying to be clever or funny, it's kind of hard to do live on one of these sessions, and I might look back at it later. But I think the gist is when you see them favorite it, maybe make that little joke, be a little presumptuous and playful about it, and if it makes somebody smile, right? This is all about getting to know, like, and trust you, even if, and then if it makes them mad at you, right? If they get mad, like, no, of course I don't. Well, then maybe right there that that's not somebody you want to work with anyway. If they don't get the joke or they're not easygoing enough, because what's going to happen when something comes up on the home inspection, right? So lead favorites of property, and then for the that was the email. For the text, I saw you favorited. Let's see, guys, on my site. Would you like any more info about it? Yeah, that one's fine to me. I'll just put my name. And that one's fine as is. Cool. So there we go, guys. A little tedious, but as you can see, in about a half hour, you can quickly go through these. I do recommend you do go through them, make them feel and sound like you. I'll get in this doc. I'll just kind of get my versions in here that you can use and edit, as starters. But overall, I think the main thing to focus on is sound casual. Don't try to be overly professional. Talk to people as if like you would talk to maybe a friend who was looking for a house. Just make it feel warm and fuzzy. Make it feel easy to reach back out to you, right? That you're easygoing and you're just there to help them out if you want to. Don't be too pushy, and just know that the system is pretty good about sending these out and generating conversations for you, and that you have control over the settings as well right here. We did do a session recently that talked and went in depth about these settings. I'll just remind you that you can choose the statuses that they go out for. And also, I believe this one is pretty powerful. I really like this one, that if you have this on, whenever a new leader prospects, so you get somebody from Zillow or from a Facebook ad or something, if they respond, it'll move them out of that new status into the active lead status. So then if they are somebody engaging with you and you have your active off, then you don't have to worry about these messages going out and making you look silly, right? So that's a key thing about these. So there we have it, some behavioral automation scripts. Again, I'll get these all onto this doc and included next to the replay and in the members area shortly. So going back to a question we had from Chick here. Chick like chicken. Okay, Chick, thank you. I get in trouble for saying that around my feminist wife sometimes. But yeah, where should you start? You have 3,000 plus emails. So if you're just getting started with kvCORE and you've imported 3,000 people, hopefully they've all, they came to you from an earlier system and you have permission to market to them. I would try to get them on some kind of automated alerts. That's pretty much the first thing I would do after you modify these, maybe. And the way to do that is to set up an automated hashtag alert rule. If you go to marketing and you go to search alerts, you can create a generic alert. And I would just do your area and maybe some price point that's kind of the middle of the range. And I would set up an alert to not go out too frequently, because if it's 3,000 people, you don't know their search criteria, they've just been leads in the past, you just want them to start seeing your name connected to real estate on a regular basis. So I wouldn't be too aggressive about this, but try to set up some kind of alert and set the frequency down here to once a week. And the way that these are configured, they're configured by a hashtag. So I'm assuming you didn't do this when you imported the leads, or if you haven't imported the leads yet, have this set up before you import the leads. And then you can go and you can assign that hashtag that from the trigger to those people in the Smart CRM and try to make sure they're all alerts. Even better, of course, if you have the time, would be to go through each lead one at a time and set them up for an alert specific to them if you do happen to know who they are. So that's what I would do first. Okay, you have one set up for each neighborhood. And do you know, questions, do you know each of those leads, what they're in? But bottom line, try to get those leads on some kind of automated alert. The second thing I would do is definitely try to send the whole database something every week. So go into marketing, go into your scheduled mass emails, and this could be anything. It could, couple of low-hanging fruits would be a listing of the week, an open house announcement, a list of a featured list of properties, like, hey, property search of the week, new construction in Pinellas County, something like that. If you're having events, or if you can schedule a webinar, like first time home buyers webinar, you get a Zoom account, you create a quick webinar link using Zoom, and you just set up a time when you're going to talk to people about how to buy their first home, invite people to that. So try to engage once a week just to get them going again, right? And use the features of the system to do that. Beyond that, I wouldn't worry too much about putting them on drip campaigns. Really, it's the property alerts and sending something interesting. It doesn't need to be much more complicated than that. And if you have time, you could email people or call them one at a time and say, hey, I have this new system. It's got this cool feature that'll let me send you specific listings. If you're thinking about moving, let me know about the criteria for house you might live in. Otherwise, I can send you hot investment deals that I know about, right? And try to get those people consent to get a certain type of property. Right, you could focus on their neighborhoods too, if you know what neighborhood they're in and who they are. So if you're doing it segmented, it might be more work, but if you know they're in XYZ neighborhood, then send them a weekly report about the goings on in their neighborhood. And we do talk about this feature a lot. KV4 has the area pages feature built in, where basically every zip code and city in your MLS has its own page with recent stats. So if I come here and I click on South Pasadena, it's under the areas we cover in the bottom, but you can do this for any page. It's taking a minute to load. There we go. So for those specific neighborhoods, I might say, hey, South Pasadena neighborhood report. Click here to see all the latest stats. And it's always the same link. It's just areas / like this, and then either the zip code or the neighborhood, like so. And maybe send that once a week or once a month or something. Yep. Jeannie's asking, how do you print a monthly birthday report? I don't know if you can. See whose birthdays are coming up. I'm not sure the system has a way to do it. If it does, I'm not aware. I was trying to see here on the Smart CRM if I could filter by birthday, but I don't think I can. Now the system does have that automated birthday feature under marketing where you can send an automated text or email. Right here. So if you have a birthday in the system, it'll send that automatically if that's why you want the report, but I'm not sure how to dump those out. Well, now I'm thinking about it. I suppose what you could do, not ideal, is you can go to the main Smart CRM and export all your contacts. And I'm pretty sure that that export file, you pull it into Microsoft Excel or into a Google Sheet, it'll probably have the birthday field in there. And then you could sort by the birthday field. Yeah, you could create tasks. The system should actually show you your upcoming birthdays. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that could be a feature request if there was just a section that showed the upcoming birthdays. It's a good idea. I mean, I'd like it too, as a co-owner of Thanks.io, if we prompted people to send a birthday card too. If there was an easy way for the system to say, hey, here are the upcoming birthdays, mail a card, send a text, send an email, right? You'd have that option, like a birthday management screen. So I'll put that in as a feature request. And it's totally possible. We've got so many features here. It's totally possible it's something that's on the product team's webinar radar, and I'm just not aware of it yet. So I'll bring it up to them, see what they have to say. Okay. Is there a way to mass email leads in a certain zip code? So you would need to know the zip code, and there isn't any way to sort by zip code, I'm pretty sure, because the way to mass email is to create filters in the Smart CRM. So we go to property. So property interest you can do by location, but I don't think you can do by the address, can you? Let me look here. Has a primary address. No, the only way you can do it is filter for people who have an address. But yes, not an explicit way. The way that Chick was talking about doing it was having a hashtag assigned by where they live. So yeah, those are both great ideas. Now, one way around that, there's probably only a handful of areas that you serve, in general. So the area pages that I was showing, you could send an email that says, hey, here's this week's area reports. And then you just put links to like 5 million areas all in one email. Not ideal, but might save you some work, right? So if you just go to, here's kind of how I would write that. I'll go to schedule mass email, schedule email, and I'll say weekly Pinellas County real estate market updates, right? And I'd say, hi, here are this week's links to real estate listings and market stats for some key neighborhoods, I don't know, in Pinellas County. You can almost send this same thing on a recurring basis. And then I would just say, St. Pete, St. Pete, Gulfport, Clearwater, Dunedin. I would go like that. And then have like 5 to 7 links that they can click through, and each of those links go to pages like this. Just a little workaround. I mean, it'd be pretty interesting actually to get that email. If I live in St. Pete and I just curious about what's going on in Dunedin, I might click on that and look over there, right? So it's kind of an interesting email to send. And you could send that email almost every week. It doesn't, these links that you put in there, they don't change, right? So anytime I come to this specific area page link, it's always up to date with the latest, the most popular listing, the least expensive. All of these things are dynamically generated. So just a thought. So where do we get those links? Yeah. So one way to do it, here's the easiest way. They're all already built in the system. Okay, so if you go like this, I'm going to drop in the Zoom chat my website link, and notice at the end in the chat there, this is just like, if you want to be a KV4 power user, just know about this, because it's not a lot. It's not a big thing to know. Making this bigger on the screen. And at the end of your link, of your KV Core site link, you do /areas. And then you can do any neighborhood or city. So if it's 2, like South Pasadena, it's just plus like this. Or if it's a zip code like this, you can do the zip code. Now, the other way to get these and kind of manually build them is to go to the areas we serve section in website settings. Just takes longer. That's why I like showing everybody the area, the page trick, like the format of the URL. But if I come in here and I go to Web and IDX and I go to website content, it's right here under service areas and SEO. And what you can do is you can add appear specific areas to this section, I think you can add them all at once. I don't remember. Maybe the first time you do it, it asks you if you want to just add them all. And you can remove some. And then to get to any specific one, you can search for them here. And to get to any specific one, you just click on it. It should take you there. Hey, wait a minute. Why didn't you go? I see an error. I see a bug here. I could see it when I hovered. These are supposed to click over, but in my system, it says undefined. Sorry, guys. I will let the guys know, but basically, when you click that, if it does what it did to me, see how it says undefined /areas/33707, it's probably just something wacky about the way I have something configured. Just put your URL here where it says undefined. No, I've never seen it do that before. Yeah, you can remove the zips you don't want, but that will not do you much. These I think show up, the ones you add here, they show up at the bottom of your site, way down here. Oops, not here, on the home page. On the home page and lots of other pages. So yeah, you can delete them if you want to. So they don't show here. That I can see why you might want to do that. But these are the ones that you want to show as areas you cover, but they're all already built. The links, they're just kind of invisible in the system. And anytime you visit that link with the slash and then the area/city or zip code or neighborhood, then it'll load for you. But yeah, under the areas you cover, yes, you can control what shows there. So, and I think we've done some deep dives on this feature. I know I've done specific webinars about those. You guys can always go to the Inside Real Estate site. Use the little search on our main YouTube channel. Yeah, here's a few. Apparently 2 months ago, I did one. I can't even remember at this point. So here's a webinar we did on those area pages a couple months ago. Cool. Well, thanks for all the great questions, guys. We're coming toward the end of the hour. I don't see any more coming in, so I think we can call it a day. I will get the text as promised, all of those added to this document. I'll include it with the video replay and in the next level members area. Do take some time. I do think it's worth doing to edit those scripts, just make them sound like you. So they don't sound, I've always thought they sound a little awkward, and I cringe sometimes when people get them. So now you have a chance to make them sound more like you. So thank you, Omid. Thank you, everybody. And that's it. David, your zip should be in there. But if a zip isn't loading up, then if it's in your MLS, it should be in there. But if not, reach out to support. All right. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, just add that as a feature request, Dave. You should be able to search by zip, though, as far as I know. So, okay. Have a good one. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow, guys.